Hey guys, Saxion with Good Time Gaming, and we are almost at the end of another great year in games. With 2015 just days away, I thought it'd be fun to run down some of my favorite games from 2014, as well as a couple titles that I'm really looking forward to playing in the new year. For this list, I only included games I personally played. So while Far Cry 4 looks incredible, and sounds incredible from what everyone's telling me, I'll be damned if I'm giving Ubisoft more than $20 for that game. So with that being said, let's get to it. Coming in at number 5 is This War of Mine. If this was an award show, I would call this game and its award the "Where the fuck did this game come from?" because this one just totally showed up one day on my radar. In This War of Mine, you control between 1 and 4 civilians trying to ride out the events of a conflict in Europe. There are a variety of ways to survive, including scavenging, growing your own food, trading, and killing. Your interactions with other survivors really can come across a number of ways, and really give you a sense of what could actually develop in a conflict such as this. Some people will be very friendly and willing to trade or barter with you. Others won't really care that you're there, just kind of ignore you unless you do something to piss them off. And others will just try and kill you straight up. What makes this game unique is in the way in which the dialogue unfolds and the story starts to take shape. Characters slowly reveal themselves over time, and you will find yourself becoming attached to your little group. Fellow survivors react to things that you do. Did you steal from a civilian? Your group members might take issue or become depressed. Things look increasingly bleak. Guess what? One of your guys just left in the middle of the night and took all your food with him. This War of Mine is a great game that mixes strategy, storytelling, combat, and drops it against a beautiful mix of hand-drawn and pre-rendered graphics. Check it out if you get a chance. You won't be disappointed. And if you don't make it, which you probably won't on several occasions, then the game makes you feel kind of bad about that, with the dialogue that's revealed afterwards. But to be perfectly honest, once you get some experience with this game, it's pretty easy to beat it. So don't give up, guys. Keep on trying. Coming in at number 4 is Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. Shadow of Mordor was a surprisingly good game, and served as a sort of reboot to the Lord of the Rings games. There have been a great number of Lord of the Rings games released over the years, and many of them were pretty crappy or just kind of average. Shadow of Mordor is essentially an Assassin's Creed in Middle-earth, but it works, and it works extremely well. You play as Talion, and in a twist on the tried and true formula of "my village and friends and family have been killed, and now I must seek vengeance," you are actually killed in the beginning. You start out by failing, basically. And in this process, a spirit binds to you, and thus you two become kind of trapped together and work together in order to seek revenge and break the curse, which involves seeking out the Black Hand of Sauron.
The Black Hand of Sauron.
Your epic quest involves learning new powers, gaining weapons, pulling off badass moves, interrogating orcs, and sneaking around. Overall, the game is great and one of those rare instances where the preview actually matches up to the finished product pretty damn well. Check it out and spill some orc blood while you're at it. Number 3 goes to Divinity: Original Sin. Divinity: Original Sin was a successful Kickstart campaign that brought in close to $1 million. Created by Larian Studios, the guys who made the Divine Divinity and Beyond Divinity games, 2 games which I honestly thought were mediocre at best, comes a beautiful and just epic reimagining of old school turn-based RPGs.
Sinister place.
You are able to create your own character at the start and undertake a variety of quests as you seek to dial back the damage done by forbidden magic known as the Source. What's kind of interesting about this is that you actually create 2 characters at the beginning. And in some situations, your characters actually fight with each other, which basically means you're kind of fighting with yourself when it comes to certain decisions in the game. As you progress, you will visit a variety of environments, each of which is carefully stitched together and presents a whole new set of enemies, challenges, treasures, traps, and lore to uncover. The game is a mix of Baldur's Gate and Final Fantasy Tactics, to put it simply, and it works extremely well. The game is also open to the Steam Workshop, and you can have multiplayer. What's not to like about this game? The game is also a lengthy one. My first playthrough ended about 55 hours after I first began it. Check this game out and get in touch with your old school RPG roots. And if you don't have any old school RPG roots, perhaps you'll find yourself growing some after this. Number 2 goes to Payday 2. Now I know what a lot of you guys might be thinking, and yes, Payday 2 actually came out last year. I even did a review of it. But here's the thing, the game has changed in so many ways and so much content has been added this year that it is essentially a whole new game. While a lot of it has been paid content, there's also been a lot of free content added. Plus, the paid content is also playable even if you don't actually own the DLC. All you have to do is just join a game in which someone who has it is hosting it. We've seen more than a dozen new guns added, numerous new heists, three new playable characters, tons of new masks and patterns, and a bunch of what I will call quality of life fixes. Changes and fixes that make the game a lot more enjoyable to play. One of the ones that's been really nice is the recent addition of a multi-class feature. So instead of having to respec every time you feel like pulling the trigger on a shotgun, you can now do it a lot easier with just a few clicks of your mouse. With Overkill Software having recently pledged to support the game for many more months to come, I for one am truly excited to see what the new heists are and what the future holds for us. See you at the Getaway Van, heisters. Number 1 on my list goes to Dragon Age Inquisition. The first Dragon Age was an amazingly complex game that told a great story about a magical land called Ferelden. Dragon Age 2 was an abomination, much like those found in the world of Dragon Age. Dragon Age Inquisition gets everything right that was wrong about the second game, and expands on the complexity of the narrative in the first game. The story casts you as the Herald of Andraste, and your task is to stop an evil demon and close a rift that has been torn open in the world, allowing demons to flood through. You are aided by your friends and your forces known as the Inquisition. The skill trees are a little bit dumbed down, much like the second game, but it isn't so bad that it ruins everything else. Oh, the places you'll go in Dragon Age Inquisition. You'll visit forests. You'll visit caves. You'll fight dragons. You'll find ruins. You'll fall in love.
Is there anything I can do? Can I get you anything? A drink, perhaps?
Would you care to dance with me, Lady Josephine?
I was hoping you'd ask, my lord.
You'll
The
give
eyes of every
speeches.
noble in the Empire are upon us, Your Grace. Remember to smile. This is your party. You wouldn't want them to think you had lost control.
First,
And you will
this
judge people.
wasn't my idea.
Oh yes,
It is an issue
you will
of
judge
titles
people.
And heir apparency and Halam Shiral is having difficulty freeing trade routes formerly controlled by Duchess Florian. Had she been tried, her assets would be forfeit and considerable bureaucracy avoided. So they ask that we judge her.
This is supposed to make sense. I'm judging a box.
That was the time allotted for rebuttal. Her crimes negated any claim to... Forgive me, there is an odor.
I call for rehabilitation. The skull shall do public theater about the evils of evil. I also judge the box. End table for orphans.
That's quite enough, Inquisitor. Point taken.
The game clearly has a sense of
It's going
humor,
to be all
and you
right.
will hack, slash, cast, and laugh your way
You'll
through over
die.
60 hours of awesome gameplay.
Everyone dies.
This game is also evidence against the recent claims that multiplayer components detract from development of the core game, thus making the game worse. In the case of Dragon Age Inquisition, the multiplayer is pretty repetitive, there's an extensive grind to unlock new classes, and it is very limited in scope. Overall, it's actually pretty shitty. Multiplayer aside, there's a fantastic game here, and I would recommend this game at almost any price. Pick it up, preferably on PC, and enjoy yourself. So, you might recognize this as the launch screen for Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. That's because this is a game that I hope gets a sequel in 2015. Far Cry 3 was a pretty good game by itself, but Blood Dragon was by far and away much better than the game that it was sort of, kind of, not really based on. It shared the franchise name, but it really had nothing to do with the original Far Cry 3 game. This game casts you as a cyber commando named Rex, and you're out to avenge your friend who died, as well as stop a guy named Sloan, who is a former cyber commando, from taking over and destroying the world with his missiles. It has great action, it's unique. I mean, how many times do you see a shooter that is unique as this? Plus, and this is spoilers,
No. Running dead. Outbound.
you get to ride a freaking dragon at the end of the game and kick so much ass.
What the hell is this?
I am the Battle Armor Dragon Assault Strike System. Your Killstar controls my brain cage, instructing me that you are my rider.
Hello, Chris.
I am equipped with a hydraulically powered Terror 4000 cannon and titanium trauma plates.
I think I'll take you out for a spin.
Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon was an amazing game and one that I loved playing, and I would like to see a sequel to this game. But it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of hope for that right now, as the issue has been brought up to Ubisoft and there are currently no public plans to make a new Blood Dragon game. But here's to hoping for a proper sequel in the new year. So with my favorite games for the year out of the way, and my wish list game for the game I'm hoping to get a sequel this year, what are some games that I'm actually looking forward to on PC this year? Well, the first one is going to be Resident Evil Revelations 2. I love the first Resident Evil Revelations, and I thought that it had a pretty decent balance between old school Resident Evil versus new school Resident Evil, and I'm hoping that the new game kind of brings us back a little bit more to the old school Resident Evil, a little bit more horror and a little bit less shooting and blowing up everything with infinite ammo that we've gotten used to in certain other games, which will remain completely unspoken of.
Resident Evil.
Next game I'm really looking forward to is Dying Light. I really like the Dead Island series, and Dying Light looks like a much better version of that, so I'm looking forward to it. There's all kinds of cool traps and ways to kill zombies, and it has what looks to be a pretty solid parkour and free-running component in it. The game graphically looks amazing as well, so that always helps too. The last game I'm really looking forward to is the PC release of Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 has been out for consoles for a while already, and even though I have a PS3, I haven't picked it up. I really wanted to get this game on PC, even though it wasn't initially announced for PC, but now that we know it's coming to PC for sure, it's going to be a kick-ass game, and I cannot wait. So there you have it, gamers. This has been a collection of a few of my favorite games this year, as well as a little bit of a preview of a couple games I'm really looking forward to in 2015. So what games are you all looking forward to in 2015? Or what have you really liked about 2014's games? And there were quite a few good ones this year. Let us know in the comments below. This is Axiom with Good Time Gaming. Please remember to like and subscribe and share our video if you like anything about it. Remember to always have a good time gaming. And I will leave you with this little video clip on this day, the last day of 2014. See you guys in 2015.